Hello again. I want to give you a bit of information about program management. I started my career as a program manager at IBM and worked there for many years, and as well as a company called Solcom. So I wanted to share a few hard-won lessons that I learned in just 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to focus a bit more on the implementation phase, but you can think of program management being not only implementation, but also planning and scoping. A real lesson for me is that great program managers not only are very organized and have clear systems and disciplines that they are using on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, but they really focus on maintaining relationships, using motivational leadership approaches, collaborative leadership approaches as well. So your job is to assure that each project within a greater program is aligned and stays aligned with solving the identified problem. You are accountable to your funders to assure that your work matches your mission and vision. You coordinate each project's planning, implementation, and completing the work within a committed budget and time, then evaluating the project and integrating the learning. Organizational and communication skills are critical as you bring a team along with you. Your role as a project manager is to be ultimately responsible for the project. How do you assure that any successes are celebrated as a team and the failures belong to me or to you as the project manager? Project management is an iterative process. Due to the way our brains work, we don't plan projects accurately the first time we plan it. So we need to include an iterative process to recognize that we're going to learn about risks, dependencies, missing resources as we go along. So you want to build into your process of planning and implementing the ability to go back, plan some more, implement, report, go back. There are 3 constraints that we must balance as program managers: the goal or project, the time we have to complete it, and the resources. Again, this is your balancing act. We have to, as we scope out the goal, we will need to shift and renegotiate schedule and resources with the stakeholders. We may need to make our funders and managers aware of the impact of scoping. Also, when you're looking at your resources or limits in funding, we might have to rescope the goal and the schedule. Check your work with others, but above all, keep your superiors and the team in the loop. As entrepreneur Margaret Heffernan shares in her TED Talk, we know we don't do things very well alone, but we can do things quite marvelously together. Here are some hard-won tips and techniques that I hope are supportive to you. Again, make sure your scope of project is clear and build in that iterative planning process with your team. Make sure that those you're reporting to, either your stakeholders or employers, are clear what you're going to provide and what you're not going to provide. Scope creep is natural. Scope creep is when we create something and it's really cool and you're managing it and then people want to add things. But you need to go back to the schedule and the resources and explain that what might or might not be possible. Can you add new features? Or do you need additional time or dollars or people? Continue to call for SMART goals or objectives, remembering that we want to have things specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Your action plans are your friends. You're going to track them on a weekly or monthly basis with the other people involved, and we want to check where we are. Is the schedule still correct? There's all sorts of amazing project management tools online that help you to track tasks, budgets, risks, and dependencies. But I can't emphasize enough the importance of having a scheduled, in-person, if possible, program management meeting weekly with your team. Weekly meetings with clear agendas where everyone is held accountable for their tasks are critical. This discipline assures that people get things done because they know they're going to see you. The well-organized project management meeting allows you to get a sense if the project is on track. Include as part of your ground rules when you're building your team what type of reporting discipline you're going to have with each other. Not only internal to the team, but also to the other stakeholders. How are you going to share risks, propose scope changes, schedule issues as they arise? You can add this to your group code of conduct. How quickly will we raise issues? And how are we committing to communicate with each other? I leave you with 2 quotes for the program manager from poet Johann von Goethe. A talent is formed in stillness, a character in the world's torrent. Investigate what is and not what pleases. It takes some digging and bravery to dive into the torrent or the chaos of managing a program or project. May you be successful at determining what is, where we want to go, and manage each project with success.